are back with some more House of Elimination. Okay, tonight we were going to continue chapter 3. Yeah, we were in the dungeon, and we were going to look for, like, an elevator key or some shit.
Oh yeah, because we're in the dungeon, prison,
Yep,
whatever you want to call it.
we're in the dungeon, and at the end of last time, we talked to Renegade, and then he was like, "Oh, I think this dungeon's definitely connected to the lab because there's an elevator and whatnot or something. Or he found the elevator key, and now we need to find the elevator. That's what it is."
Yeah, and I remember there was like the whole dialogue with Bookworm that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, that was good. So yeah, we'll see if she survives.
Well, now since that happened, probably not. She might not be the next person, but I wouldn't be surprised if she is. But I think it's definitely sometime
Maybe.
soon.
It's either I feel like she's either going to be one of the next deaths, or she'll make it to the end. It's one of those things. Like, they're gonna give her full character arc, or they're gonna like kill her off before it can happen.
Yeah.
That's my thought on it. But we will see.
I mean, look what happened with Mystic.
It's true. After breakfast, we begin a thorough sweep of the dungeon. Several hours into the process, we failed to turn up much of anything.
Incompetent Bookworm. How did searching the warden's room go?
We didn't find any mechanisms in particular. No trace of any switch on the walls either. I'm not so sure it's worth looking further. But we did coat the entrance with some phosphorescent paint we found. That way no one will get lost in the dark if they need to use the bathroom at night.
Great idea. You really can't see anything once the lights go off down here. Thanks, Incompetent.
We have no other option but to continue searching these massive walls, said the girl, disheartened by the mere thought of such a tiring prospect. How about on your end? Did you find anything?
You've covered about half of the wall, but no luck. Everybody's still looking right over there.
I follow where Doleful indicates to see Armor and the others running their hands along the walls. This muir, too, seems perfectly ordinary. Is there truly a passageway hidden here?
I understand how you feel, but let's keep up the effort, Armor. There were plenty of contraptions in the manor. I'm certain this dungeon must have something of the sort as well.
Workaholic's right. This dungeon contains no shortage of oddities. The hidden passage we descended has to continue further underground. No normal prison would need to be this deep. There must be a reason behind it.
You say as much, but after searching a myriad of cells, we all have discovered that they share the exact same layout. I'm all but convinced this place is truly nothing more than a prison.
I agree with Techie. Something's fishy. This place is far too concealed to be just an underground holding area.
Gah! Enough pussyfooting around already. The passage is hiding behind one of these walls, right? Then let's just knock them all down. It's too dangerous. We'd be buried alive if the place caved in.
Capital idea. Why don't we begin by kicking them? Said the girl, concurring with Rowdy Detective's suggestion.
Worm, you're usually so level-headed. What's gotten into you?
No need to get so worked up, Doleful. I'm sure Bookworm's onto something. Bookworm gives me a smile as she continues on. The wall hiding the passage will be hollow. In other words, it'll sound different than the rest when struck, said the girl, detailing her plan. I see. If we wish to sound out each wall, kicking them would generate the impact we need, even if the method's rather violent. The sound might only differ slightly. Are we sure we'll be able to tell?
You doubting my skills? I got the ears of a rabbit. I could hear a pin drop in a whole pile of straw.
She even catches me when I try to sneak up and hug her goodnight. I'm sure she could hear any noise as long as she's focused on it. You sneak up on her in her sleep? Actually, never mind. Thanks, Rowdy. Sorry to put so much pressure on you.
This is what I live for. Now let's get to it.
With our plan in place, we take turns kicking the walls.
No echo behind that one. Next. Sheesh, your legs are a lot stronger than they look, but I don't hear a thing. Ain't no passage in there. I'm not too skilled at manual labor. Ah, come on. A piddly kick like that ain't gonna echo worth squat. Get those twinkle toes into gear, will ya? Sorry, I'm pretty much helpless at anything outside of brain work. Watch and learn. This is how you kick.
Wow, what a blow. I'd hate to be on the receiving end of that.
We got a hit. I definitely heard an echo that time. No doubt about it. There's a passage hiding right behind this center wall.
Oh, now I can see it. It's the one with the cracks down the side. Who would have thought?
Oh, just as I suspected, there is a hidden passage. Come, everyone. Let's scour around for a switch that opens this passage. You as well, Dolful. Step to it. Locating things is your specialty, is it not? Now is your time to shine. What?
Dolful stumbles as Bosch shoves him from behind. He loses his balance and falls in his butt. And then I hear something that gives me a bad vibe. God. Wait.
I figured.
The switch was right where he fell? It's funny. The hidden passage screeches open.
It was either that or it was a self-destruct latch.
Yeah.
Of some sort.
Wow, Dolful, well done. I run over to Dolful, who's still on the floor, and help him up with a grateful hand. Now this was the makings of a great detective. Finding crucial clues without even meaning to? What an incredible power. Hopefully we can now get out of this seedy underground maze. Thank goodness things took a turn for the better before our food ran out. Okay, so just my thought here. Dolful's whole thing is that it's basically like they detect danger, right? Or they get themselves into bad situations.
Yeah, so that means something bad is coming up.
Yeah, so presumably I would think that means that going down this passage is not necessarily a good idea. But
yep, but we shall find out. Hold on, Watto. Don't be hasty.
Holmes appears before me with a grave expression.
Dolfo's ability isn't so simple as finding vital clues, remember? He only senses traps and evidence that threatens his life.
Yep, there we go. Okay, they're explaining it.
Since he discovered the passage, one should naturally assume that it's either related to a case or that danger lurks out ahead.
What?
Oh, well, without further ado, everyone, follow the leader. That is to say, me.
How are you the 5th-ranked detective?
Because I said so, bitch. Let us leave this dust-ridden place at once. Wait, Posh. There's definitely something dangerous down there. Huh?
At least she listened.
Oh.
Oh, my Monato's going off. Suddenly, the image of Posh spattered in blood flashes before me. My denouement has shown me the future. This vision will soon become reality. Watch out! Hank pushed his arm back without a second to spare. Sharp metal spikes then dart out right where Posh was standing mere moments ago. If I hadn't grabbed her, if I hadn't seen the future, she would have died on the spot.
Something's coming out of the passage.
That's a
Beep,
that's a
boo boo bop, boo boo bop.
As if in response to Posh, a mechanical whirring rings out from the tunnel. I've heard the sound before, but before I have time to ponder, its source appears directly in front of us. It's one of those things. The color and size are different, but it's the same type of machine that took Holmes' life. Beep.
Boop bop.
Beep boop. Now I'm just thinking of the SpongeBob thing with Mr. Krabs.
Yep.
Mechanical noise, identical to that black robot's call, resounds through the dungeon. This one is pure white, smaller and around my height, no more than 5.5 feet max. But the sound, which alone makes my hair stand on end, and the robotic murderous intent I sense from it are just as I recall. The image of Holmes' death flashes unbidden in my mind. I know we have to flee, but my body won't move. My traumatic fear dulls my reflexes. I don't act fast, Al. How about you?
Bring it, you pile of scrap.
Well, I guess there goes them. Armor and Rowdy leap in front of me. What could they be planning?
Hey, Armor, you know the drill. First,
Let us ponder after the opening blow is struck. They slam their fists into the mech at the same time, sending it flying back down the passage. Oh, that was easy. Both of them are bursting with energy, despite having just bashed a remarkably hard surface. They really give Iron Fist a new meaning. That's beside the point. What are you doing? You could get killed.
hey, I know how dangerous this is, but then this numbskull here popped up in front of me.
I could not resist the urge to charge forth. Forgive me, Sir Incompetent. Their words are blunt and unvarnished, much like them, but ultimately they've lessened the shock of the surprise attack and bought us time to think. I'll have to remember to thank the two of them.
Here come those rotten spikes.
My corslet shall forestall them anon. Those are words.
Yeah.
Spikes fire down the passage, striking Armor's metal exterior. True to his words, they don't even leave a scratch. All of a sudden, the spikes begin to flash. Armor? Armor drops as the white mech reappears out of the passage. Upon closer inspection, I can see 3 vents on its body, like air holes. Black wires trail from each one. Wires connect to the spikes that struck Armor and are now retracting into its body. There's also a camera-like device atop its head, which watches us intently. What is this machine? It looks like a metal can that's been painted a blinding white, and yet that camera freezes me in my tracks. It's precisely because of its simplicity that I can tell this mech is incredibly deadly. Everyone, those spikes are charged with a powerful electrical current. Like a stun gun. Don't let them touch you.
Yo, Armor, you good?
His armor conducted the charge, but he'll be fine. Still, it was enough to knock him out. A direct hit from those spikes could mean instant death. So, one false step and we're done for. How do we get out of this one?
I'll distract it. Get Armor to safety in the meantime.
Doleful shouts as he steps in front of the rushing mech. Doleful, what are you doing?
My danger magnet is probably to blame for this whole mess. I'm not going to let anyone else die from this ability. Get back, Doleful. I'll act as a distraction. We can fight this thing together. You can't even land a solid kick, moron. Like hell, I'm gonna let you play decoy. I've got it. Just back me up. She's right. Remember how I can sense danger? I'm guaranteed to survive. Just leave this to me and Rowdy. Sorry, but no can do. As it stands, I have the highest seniority in the group. And despite my physical shortcomings, I actually have quite a lot of combat experience.
Man, you got a lot of time to have this argument while it's standing there.
Yeah, he's just gonna slap it to death. Fine, have it your way. I'm going in.
Workaholic and Rowdy plunge in, fighting the white mech to buy us some time. It pivots on its treads, then advances towards them. Spike shoot out at Rowdy, who is the closer target.
You really think that'll work? If you want to kill me, face me head on.
Rowdy throws out a taunt as she launches herself to the side, dodging the spikes with ease. She's so agile you'd think she was a cat. And she doesn't stop there either. As the mech retracts the spikes of its wires, Rowdy slips through its defenses in a flash.
This one's for my pal, Armor. Wait, Rowdy, duck! Huh?
At that instant, a long spike thrusts out from the white mech. He raises Rowdy's head, who ducked just in time before retracting into its body. Severed strands of hair dangle in midair. Not only does it fire bullet-like spikes, it also has a spear for close-range stabbing. Workaholic's warning and Rowdy's reflexes save her life, but a clod like me would have absolutely been skewered. Realizing she's at a disadvantage, Rowdy jumps back, putting some distance between herself and the mech. Without missing a beat, it fires more long-range spikes at Rowdy, but they don't connect. She nimbly dodges them once again. There's a limit to her stamina, though. She can't go on forever. Eventually, both of them will end up killed. We need a way to break the impasse. Instead of narrating this, I should be thinking of what to do next.
Yeah, just imagine like 5 minutes passes by and everybody's just looking at Incompetent, just like his fist like under his chin, like thinking, I need a monologue.
Yeah, and he's just narrating it out loud. And everyone's just like staring at him like, what are you doing? Alright, this is the perfect time to see the future with my denouement. Maybe I'll find a solution there.
Stay calm, Watto. More than anything else, you need to keep a cool head in dire straits.
Almost pierced into my face, derailing my train of thought.
The denouement. Is it denouement?
Yeah, denouement.
Denouement. Oh, that's a new Digimon. Huh. I wonder what that looks like.
Exactly.
The denouement only reveals the outcome. It's of no use if you can't grasp the process. You'd only incapacitate yourself, doing more harm than good. Detectives must always examine reality with a presence of mind before passing judgment.
You think I can just stay calm when my friends are about to die? I snap back harder than I mean to, my own volume surprising me. I ask Holmes another question in a quieter voice. You know something about this dungeon, don't you? Or about that mech, maybe? Please, tell me how to beat it.
If I knew that, I wouldn't have been cut down so easily.
Ugh, that's a fair point.
But I do know how to face the threat before us. Listen to the noise that eyesore is making.
The noise? Incompetent detective? You're talking to yourself. Is your head on right? asked the girl, examining his face with a look of concern. Yeah, you know you can just think these things.
Exactly.
Bookworm noticed me acting strangely enough to warrant pointing it out. I doubt she heard what I said, so I'd better make up an excuse. Like, just think instead of talking. Sorry, I'm fine. I've been simulating options in my mind for stopping that mech. Right. Simulating is your specialty, after all, said the girl, fully convinced. Absolutely lying. Definitely not convinced. Yeah, and I've already noticed something off about that noise it makes. Interesting. Let me check, said the girl, closing her eyes and focusing all of her attention on her oral faculties. Bookworm then performs the very action she had just narrated. What is she doing?
Classic Bookworm. All you did was give her a hint about the noise, and she immediately knew what to do. Incidentally, you do realize you can answer me without speaking out aloud, don't you? I can hear your thoughts. Remember?
Why didn't you tell me that sooner? She did. She's told you this.
She
You
did.
knew this.
Yeah.
You already knew this. Bookworm remains focused, listening to the noise as Holmes and I go back and forth. Beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, bop. Read like an open book. Techie, can you record that whirring and play it back at 1/10 of the speed? Asked the girl. You said a 10th? Okay, I'll give it a try. Techie connects his D-pad to his wheelchair with a cord and begins to operate it. The wheelchair, which apparently has built-in speakers, begins to play the audio recorded on his D-pad. Now I'll lower the playback speed. We all stare agape when Techie slows it down. The wind passes through only one of 3. And then he says that again. Is that the Quartering Duke's voice? It's identical to the one I've heard in all the Quartering Duke's videos. As for what it's actually saying, as I thought, it's broadcasting a message, said the girl, relieved that her hunch was correct. I could tell by cross-referencing with my memory that the exact same audio was being played on repeat down to the last phone on. Otherwise stated, the machine is transmitting this on purpose, making it a message for those nearby, said the girl, further elaborating. Wow, reliable as always, Bookworm. I take her in without a second thought. Seeing her praises, she responds without looking at me. There's just one issue. We have to figure out what the words actually mean, said the girl, calmly rebuking the dim, incompetent detective. Right, the wind passes through only one of 3. What does that even mean?
Workaholic, get out of the way, Pops.
Yeah. Workaholic is sent flying by the mech's tackle for some reason, instead of just stabbing and killing him. Flurry of shots rings out like gunfire. The machine fires its spikes, aiming to strike Workaholic the moment he lands. I don't even have time to shout his name as the spikes bear down on him, but then...
So you finally stepped into my trap, eh?
Spike stopped a hair's breadth away from his face. Huh? What happened to the spikes? Take a good long look. They're wrapped in wire? I follow Renegade's advice and look closer, spying the glint of wire wound around the spike. That very wire is also extending out of Workaholic's wristwatch. He stopped the spikes using the same wire saw used in that trap at the manor. Workaholic Detective must have created a small gap before tricking it into firing its spikes. Things are really heating up now. The mech moves around, beeping and whirring as it drags the wire and Workaholic both in a frantic attempt to retract its spikes. Workaholic does his best to maintain his balance, but his face is contorted in pain. Let's see just how much time Workaholic can buy, shall we?
What compels you to spew such nonsense? We will be turning that automaton into scrap and rescuing Workaholic at once. I shall take the lead. Everyone, on my mark.
I wouldn't if I were you. Those bullet spikes might not land, but get too close and you'll be gored by that brutal spear. Without Rowdy's feral ferocity, you'd be turned into a pincushion.
I'll concede that point.
It's frustrating, but Renegade Detective is right. Anyone charging in without a plan will get the tables turned on them for sure. Clearly there's no choice but to solve the riddle we found in its transmission. The wind passes through only one of three. The three must refer to the holes on its body. Perhaps one of those is a weak point.
That must be it. Hey, let us sail those orifices apace.
Wait, Posh, if we don't choose the correct target, we'll probably end up regretting it. Incompetence, right? What do you think will happen if you hit the wrong hole on a mech that uses high-voltage weaponry? The shock would roast you to a crisp. Not to say that wouldn't be entertaining, too. I have a request, Rowdy. Gourmet calls out to Rowdy, who has been maintaining her distance from the mech. He locks eyes with her, speaking in an uncharacteristically serious tone. Can you stop that machine from moving for a bit? All I need is 5 seconds.
Aw, get out of here. Ask me for 10 at least.
Rowdy turns back to the mech and sprints towards Workaholic.
Hey, Pops, don't let go of that wire, capiche? Huh? What are you?
She then grabs the arm of Workaholic is using to hold the wire saw and pivots her hips as if swinging a bat. Up until then, the white mech had been pulling Workaholic by his wire, but now the scales have tipped. Does Rowdy plan to drag the mech around?
Mechanical power. Ain't gonna stop me.
Rowdy bellows as she snaps her arms down. Beep, boop, boop, pop, beep. So stupid. The mech topples over, pulled by the wire. The sound of metal scraping against the floor booms through the underground passage. She actually managed to stop the mech from moving with nothing but raw brute strength. The mech, durable as it is, stubbornly attempts to pick itself up, but it's already too late. Nicely done, Rowdy. In Gourmet's hand is the knife she always carries around with her. What is she planning to do with that? Bon appetit! She thrusts the blade as hard as she can into one of the mech's holes. The mech makes a robotic cry of distress. The sound then breaks apart, growing steadily quieter. Finally, the light on the camera shuts off and the mech ceases to make any noise. I believe it said, "Check, please." Gourmet takes her knife out of the hole, wiping it clean with a napkin before returning it to her pocket. The rest of us are left dumbstruck by how swiftly all of that just transpired.
Way to let him have it, sis. How do you know which one was a weak spot?
Rowdy breaks the silence and clings on to Gourmet, who begins explaining as she comforts her. It was simple. While all of you were talking, I sniffed out the different odors coming from the 3 holes. Only one smelled of rubber and metal, so I assumed there was an essential cable in there. That allowed this big dollop of frosting to operate properly.
I give it a whiff too, but I didn't catch that at all.
I'm a gourmet detective, remember? It goes without saying that I can easily catch the subtle flavors of iron and rubber. Yes, flavors.
Yep.
Gourmet laughs as if it's no big deal, but iron and rubber, for that matter, aren't foods at all. But I'll choose to keep that comment to myself.
Techie, can you inspect this machine?
Yes, leave it to me.
I didn't contribute at all. Again.
What? Oh my god. What Lindsay Woolsey do you speak? Was it not you who carried me to safety whilst the rest contended with this quandary? Also, I'm awake. I wasn't awake for most of that, but I'm awake now. 'Twas I who contributed nothing. Thus shall I heretofore endeavor to erase this stain from my legacy.
The metal-plated peasant is correct. While I too am peeved at my own inability to act, that is no reason to let it make me feel inferior. Instead, I will do all that I can to get payback, so as to pay back my debt. That is. Posh, your resolve is incredible. Maybe we should have let her die. Just saying.
It doesn't seem like we would miss her at all. So she didn't contribute anything. Thank you for your help earlier, said the girl, expressing her gratitude to incompetent detective. Me? What did I do, Bookworm? If you hadn't given me that clue about the sound it was making, we may have never solved this mystery. People could have gotten hurt. Maybe you aren't so incompetent after all, said the girl with a smile. Bookworm's smile causes my heart to lurch. That clue didn't actually come from me. Holmes is the one who told me about it, while I didn't do a single thing at all. Thanks. I'll keep trying my best to pitch in however I can. Nevertheless, I express my gratitude. Carrying this dismay in my heart, I vow to become a proper detective in my own right.
Renegade detective, couldn't you have disabled that machine from the get-go?
Cool. You overestimate my abilities. If that's how little you trust me, go ahead and activate my collar. Though maybe it's not that you won't do it, but that you can't. Is it because you don't know the conditions, or is fulfilling them just that tough?
Let me be clear. I believe we're on the same team, or I would like to. Anyway, that's why I want to learn what's going through your head.
What are you going on about? Only one, no, two people are making me tingle right now. So do me a favor and ease off, I wonder what it'll take to get incompetent and that other special someone over to our side. What does that mean? Okay. We begin investigating the tunnel that mech appeared from.
Find anything incompetent?
There's something that looks like a charging station for the mech's batteries, but that's about it.
I see. That would explain how it managed to function so smoothly, even after being left in this place for who knows how long. Judging from the amount of dust and refuse, it was here a lot longer than just 1 or 2 years. The R&D for this thing must have been incredible.
So after all that, the hidden passageway was just a trap?
No, that would be far too much effort. There's no need to create an entire hidden passage for the solitary purpose of repelling intruders. It'd make more sense if this was designed to protect something within the passage. Not that we'll ever find it in the darkness. We should have Techie build us some sort of light source before giving another look. Like, some sort of light that flashes.
Whatever that, I don't know. That's stupid. He'll figure out something. The group takes turns resting and searching, but all we managed to find is the cable for charging the mech. There's nothing else of note, nor any clues leading to another hidden passage. For all the progress we thought we made, there's little to show for it. Today's efforts were in vain, and everybody's looking fatigued.
What is the matter with you people? Wipe off those long faces and show some spirit.
Okay.
Posh. How long have you been standing by me? The whole time. Sorry, I have a tendency to blend in with the shadows. Oh, push tush. You certainly stood out well enough during our fight with the automaton. Learn to comport yourself thusly. Comport?
Yeah, something like that.
My apologies. I'll work on it. Moving on. How about we wrap things up for today? We're all so tired from fighting that mech earlier, after all. While that may be true, our food supply is dwindling, and we've spent more than enough time down here as it is. As is.
I think we should stop for now, too. It would be dangerous to investigate any further today. Techie, why do you look so down? Was there something you found while checking the mech? Yes, I discovered something troubling. That white mech is tagged with the designation SPX-01C. Its frame was developed using genuine Detective Alliance technology. DA Tech? But why would the Alliance be involved in something like that? I don't know, but I did come across files about a series of sentry robots under the same SPX back when I received tech support for the DA. So the one we ran into really was built by the Detective Alliance. I'm not so certain about that. If somebody understands the mechanics, they could easily apply the same technology elsewhere. Eki proceeds to tell me everything he can recall about the SPX Sentry Robot series. It uses map databanks and laser sensors within its body to survey its surroundings and search for targets as it moves about. Upon identifying a target, it switches to pursuit mode and hunts them down, neutralizing all on its way until it loses track of its prey long enough. Almost must have died due to that black SPX being in pursuit mode. But what was that machine anyway? Why had it been deployed there? And what caused it to activate pursuit mode? We need to get out of here quickly, or we'll never solve the mystery behind Holmes' death. Incompetent, you remember my friend Sniffy Whiffy, right? Of course, that was the one that could trace the scent of blood, right? Correct. Sniffy Whiffy's tries to incorporate technologies that were provided by the DA. The same tech was used for that white SPX, which more or less confirms that the Alliance was involved in its development. The word series suggests the existence of multiple SPX models, some of which could possibly even be down here underground. You're telling me there are more of those deadly things? That alone makes me shudder. All of us had to work together just to knock that last one out of commission. I don't even want to imagine running into another during our investigation, not when we're all this exhausted. Thanks, Techie. Your analysis really helps. Workaholic's right, Posh. Let's stop for today. We probably couldn't take on another SPX in our current condition, but I'm sure that'll change once we're back to full strength. I am in accord with Sir Incompetent. Haste leads to carelessness, which in turn leads to unforeseen endamagement.
I'm with them. I get where you're coming from, Posh, but let's just call it a day.
The girl nods her assent without a word.
More of you are willing to side with an incompetent commoner rather than me, your chief? What's the meaning of this?
So,
oh man, I'm telling you, I can't wait.
Yes, you think you're our chief. Mm-hmm.
I can't wait. Incompetent's little epiphany is what allowed us to beat the SPX in the first place. Please, don't take it too personally. I would never dream of such a thing. Me, envious of some base-born roturi... Roturii? Roturier?
Mm,
Inconceivable.
beats me.
Some French word? Frenchy French?
Posh's surliness strikes me as a bit peculiar. Either way, we suspend our search for the day, like Workaholic first suggested. There were some simple cooking implements in the warden's room. Having nothing but canned food is a bit sad, so what say I whip us up a group meal?
Dinner a la gourmet? Ain't nothing better. We gonna eat in this passage again?
Sure, let's do that. The warden's room can be a bit cramped and there aren't enough chairs there. Incompetent, Bookworm, you'll join us, won't you? Yeah, I'd love to. Same goes for you, right, Bookworm? The girl said nothing, only nodding once in agreement. Naturally, I shall sup with you as well. Let us toast to our victory.
If I come along, we might end up running into another one of those sentry robots.
Well, with Rowdy there, we'll definitely know if something's coming. Besides, it'd be best for all of us to stick together right now.
Techie is absolutely correct. We need to avoid acting alone in order to eliminate the chance of encountering an SPX outside of everyone's notice. So, no going off on your own tonight. Do I make myself clear, Posh? Renegade? I nearly forgot something in the passage and sought to retrieve it. I certainly had no intention of resuming the investigation solo.
I mean, sure, of course not. Why would you even say that? It almost makes it sound like you were going to do that.
Yeah, it's probably not like you're contradicting yourself.
I don't make a habit of following orders, but I'll be a good boy for today. Besides, I've got someone to keep an eye on. And so we all gathered to eat dinner together. That wasn't weird. Despite the meager ingredients, Gourmet makes us delicious dishes from a Russian homeland. A newfound strength flows through my tired body, okay? Didn't realize that. She was Russian, but that's cool. Everyone is all smiles, and the conversation never dies down over the course of the meal. Holmes, however, broods all the while. She really, really wishes she could eat food, but she's a ghost and cannot do that. What's on your mind, Holmes?
Just an odd premonition. For all intents and purposes, you should be making headway. And yet, I can't help but feel an impasse lies ahead. Not that I can actually use the Denomon anymore, of course. I keep thinking it's denouement.
Yeah, I know, because we did it that way for so long. That's okay. I can see the future in your place now. No one else is dying if I can help it. I'll use this power to protect all of us.
I wonder if he just grunts or makes sounds with his mouth closed while he's talking to Ideal.
Well, we just found out apparently he's just been talking out loud the whole time.
Yeah. So I wonder if he's just kind of almost humming to himself.
Yeah, he can't stop himself.
Yeah. You mustn't over rely on the Denomon, Watto. Like I said during the battle with the SPX, seeing a potential future doesn't mean you can change it. Some outcomes are unavoidable.
Unavoidable outcomes? I mean, unless you have the shield Monado, but you haven't unlocked that yet. I think I grasp what she's saying, but it doesn't really mean much to me. During our fight with the SPX, the outcome of stopping it didn't matter as much as the process of identifying and striking its weak point. But wouldn't knowing the SPX's outcome naturally mean I know the process that leads to it?
Don't forget, I can hear everything that goes on in your head. I understand that it may not make sense. I felt that way myself once. I can hear all your dirty thoughts. You sick fuck.
Sorry. I'm not sorry for those, though. I can't help that. Flustered, I apologize to Holmes, who had been listening in the entire time. Her expression grows downcast as she whispers softly.
You'll experience it soon enough. I'm sure of it.
I've never seen her face look so somber.